And welcome everyone to LoneStarVarsity.com. I am Zach Long, this is Phil Torigno, and as you have guessed, we are talking about high school football as it pertains to the South Plains region of the great state of Texas. And pertaining to that sport, Phil, only a few more weeks if you want your season to continue.
Yeah, definitely. We're already seeing some things sort of come together in district play, which is, it seems like we've been waiting for all this stuff to chew on since, the beginning of August, pretty much.
All right, Phil, before we get into this week's important games, let's do a little stroll down memory lane as it pertains to last week. And you told us, watch out for Seminole, didn't you? Guess what? Seminole did some watching of their own.
Yeah, I've been hearing, a lot of really promising things about, Kent Jackson's team. He is, of course, the former Coronado coach, and the Indians were not off to the best of starts, at least record-wise, so they didn't jump out, off paper. People had been, keeping an eye on them, but they come out with a 12-point win against Levelland. And Levelland is a team that has been very impressive. They have an outstanding sophomore quarterback in Nick Gerber that's probably, right now, the most polished of the quarterbacks that we have here. So I thought that was a huge win for Seminole.
And that district is going to get feisty. That one's going to go down to the last week and should be fun. Speaking of feisty things that occurred, my God, Brownfield over Denver City. Big win for that program.
An enormous win. I mean, once again, this is a team, with Jalen Nolan, their 14-year-old quarterback, that has been, thrown into the fire here, so to speak. And he's shown from the beginning of this season that he was very competent. First of all, he's a pretty big kid for a freshman. He's
yes,
about
he doesn't look like it.
Right, about 6'1", 160, 165 pounds. He can really move out there, and Brian Welp said that they feel really comfortable with him and his ability to spread the ball.
And right now, the future is bright for Coach Welps in that program. Going to be fun to see what they do as district play progresses. Now into the 6A inside the city of Lubbock. Monterey and Coronado. Can you understate the importance of that game this week?
No, certainly not. I know a lot of people probably won't be crazy about, we were talking about before that this might determine, which team ends up getting into the playoffs. It is extremely early moving forward, and we're not going to necessarily say it's a death sentence for whichever team loses, but they're going to have to seriously pick up some slack. If you take a look at the way that the games played out Friday, I mean, those were not competitive games for either Monterey or Coronado. Now, Monterey, I was there, certainly did not give up against Friendship, who was really abusing them with the run game.
Yes, they were.
And a bit of passing as well. Coronado had issues. I know you were there against Amarillo, so I think this game is tremendous.
Yeah, the winner of that's going to have a chance to be in there, and the loser, they might be done, Phil. That's just the truth of it, but there's still football to play after that. But I don't think you need any extra encouragement for Monterey and Coronado, so it should be a good, solid football game to go enjoy if you have nothing else to do on Friday night. All right, reviewing last week, our players of the week, they like to score touchdowns. That's how you make player of the week, right?
Pretty much,
generally. They scored a crap load of them. Start with Grant Sandercox.
6 touchdowns against Monterey. Now, the thing with Grant is that he's had an excellent year coming into this game, but he had 19 carries for 264. Now, he had been playing a lot of defense, because that's sort of where he projects collegiately. So he's been spending a lot of time and focus on the defensive side of the ball. With Ronald Awatt battling a hamstring ailment, Sandercox got extended carries and did pretty impressive things against Monterey. So he'd be the first one.
Kid's a freak of an athlete. I've seen him knock the hell out of a few people on the defensive side of the ball. Going to be exciting to see what Grant does, not only the rest of this year, but the next level. How about Crosbyton, another one of your favorite teams?
Yeah, Nathan Childers with 5 touchdowns this past week. That brings him to 22 for the season. Just a really strong start for Crosbyton here.
That's enough of the past. How about we go on to the present and see this week? These games are all huge, every one of them with big postseason implications. Let's start first with Shallowater and Slayton duking it out for the first time in a while.
Yeah, this is pretty much a matchup where I want to see if Slayton will be able to hack it in district. Not necessarily beating Shallowater. I think that might be a stretch for them. But they also have, Brownfield and Denver City in district. So I think depending on how this game goes for Slayton will determine where they'll probably fall.
That's going to be a brutal stretch. My goodness gracious. Shallowater, Denver City, Brownfield. You better bring your lunch, or you're not going to have a good time at all. So it'll be interesting to see what Slayton does there. And then the one we've already alluded to quite a bit, Monterey Coronado.
I've given some serious thought to this one, and I'm still undecided. It's too early in the week about who I want to pick.
He's smart. He's smart. He is trying to get away with not making a prediction on that game.
Well, I'm not. I mean, you guys know now that I'm not bashful. I mean,
I know you're not, but you don't want your inbox flooded because you know these two teams are watching every ounce of this right now.
Sometimes I come to the office and my phone at my desk is actually smoking from all the messages that I get. But back to this game. I will make a prediction. You have my word on that moving forward, but I'm not quite sure. There's star power on both of these teams, and I'm not sure which one has a slight advantage in that category. I'm leaning Monterey because of their defense, just to put that out there.
And all kidding aside, very evenly matched football teams with the way they counteract each other's strengths. Going to be a very good game. I'm excited to see how that one plays out. I'll be out there taking in all the glory that is the Monterey-Coronado rivalry. And last here, we were talking about this district earlier. These games are getting huge here. Estacado at Levelland.
I've been huge on the Matadors for this entire year. I haven't wavered with that, even though there were times when I potentially could have, jumped ship with them. But I'm still really high in the talent that they have around Jalen Tennyson. I think that some of the backs in this pistol offense, they're just problems. They're very difficult to defend.
So. Going to be a heck of a game out there. My goodness, we've already talked about the good quarterback that Levelland has there, and like you just said, a couple kids in the backfield for Estacado. Missed tackle, gone.
Of course. No, certainly.
Assignment sound football, right? If you don't play assignment sound football, a team like Estacado will beat you.
You're right about that. And in this district, I think it's so compelling now that Seminole has shown that it's competent as well, because this is going to make pretty much every matchup. Obviously, Pampa and Borger, they're dragging a little bit. Okay, just to call it what it is. I don't think that I would put them as contenders necessarily. So I think
no one watches up there anyway, so you're good. Just make fun of them all you want. Until Zach Thomas comes in our studio and beats us for making fun of Pampa. But no big deal. Phil, you're on a roll this week, man. Get out and watch some football this week, right?
Yep.
If you can't get into Texas high school football, this is the time of year to get into it. They're playing for district titles. They're playing for playoff berths. These kids, sometimes, last time they're going to put on pads and a helmet. This is when the emotion of the sport comes pouring out. So please, go read all of Phil's fancy articles, LoneStarVarsity.com, LubbockOnline.com, anything you want to know about high school football in the South Plains of Texas. By God, Phil Torigno probably has it. Right, Phil?
That's right.
That's right. That, or if you don't, I'm really setting you up for failure at this point in time. Phil is
we've been delivering so far. So
yes, yeah. Phil is so tired of me. I guarantee he's going to kill me as soon as we're off camera here. No. So let's go ahead and say farewell so you can get to killing. This is LoneStarVarsity.com. I'm Zach Long. That is Phil Torigno. We'll see you next time.